Sleep Token have just wrapped up their 6th night on the Even in Arcadia US tour, and there has already been so many viral moments that I've seen floating around, some of which I've already covered on this channel. The Infinite Bats breakdown where Vessel comes back on stage and chugs with the lads. Then also the like improvised version of Provider, which is a new addition to the set. So there's been plenty of viral moments, and the most recent one comes from the show last night on the 24th of September from the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, where track number 7, which was previously Vor, which as we all know is an absolute heavy hitter for especially a live performance, was replaced by quite the opposite. I have not seen the footage yet, so I don't know the context that led up to this and how it was led into, so maybe people in the comments can let me know exactly how this went down. Was it a big shock in the arena? I'm sure it was, especially for people that are maybe of the older generation who would have been a little bit more familiar with this song than I can say I am. But Vessel came on stage apparently and did a piano rendition of Dancing in the Dark by Bruce Springsteen from the album that came out in 1984. So that's why I mentioned, you know, the older generation maybe being a little bit more familiar. I know it's a classic song. I'm sure I know it. I can't think of any of the melodies or anything like that off the top of my head, so I'll have to refresh myself with the song before we check out the live video and do a reaction to it. Oh yeah. Oh, this is in so many movies. But we're also in this video going to go through some of the other viral moments that I've seen pop up on TikTok. I'm going to go through the TikToks of Sleep Token and some of the short form content. So this is a clip of Vessel allegedly smiling at a crowd surfer. Again, this is nothing to look too deep into, but I guess just with all of the little Easter eggs and sad moments that are, you know, littered throughout Even in Arcadia, it is nice to see that the band is having a lot of fun. And this is actually even the most fun I've probably seen them have on stage. They mess around, you know, they have their fun, but this is like literally him smiling ear to ear. So have a look at this. So obviously this is during the Aqua performance. Apparently it's him looking at a crowd surfer. It kind of looks like he's looking up into the bleacher somewhere. I was like, surely he can't see someone that he knows, because these are obviously massive venues that they're playing in. But, you know, you see the big cheesy grin, which is nice to see. He obviously catches someone's eye. I don't think I've ever seen him smile like that. Like, this looks like he's just at a really intimate gig, seeing someone he knows, just like, oh, hey, how are you? Which is kind of cool to see him in a different light as well. So we're just going to go through some of the popular clips here. And of course, I haven't seen this one, but, and just like that, Vessel Marie. What is the Vessel Marie thing? Can someone explain this to me? I can't keep up. Sometimes I feel like an absolute boomer because I feel like I used to be pretty good at like keeping up on top of all of the lore, but with TikTok and all these different like short form platforms, there is just so many subcultures that exist within every world, whether it be like a band or just the gaming industry or something else. And it is almost impossible to keep up with all the lore. And I feel like I'm left out. What is the Vessel Marie thing? I don't get it. Can someone let me know? But this one says, and just like that, Vessel Marie had every woman ovulating with one word. Okay, this is going to be some nonsense, but let's hear it. Okay, this is summoning, right? Oh, I don't remember there being that much echo and reverb on the God. Maybe that's a new addition, I don't know. What is the one word? Ooh, a little falsetto added in there as well. Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay, I was wondering. I was like, surely it's not the extension of the on. Turn you on. It was the bad. Okay. Yeah, look, the comment here, I love that his playful personality is showing more. It is him leaning into the maybe like an acceptance of the role that he has now, regardless of whether or not he likes it. I don't think his aim with Sleep Token was ever to be symbolized as this like literal sex symbol, but it is what it is, and I think he has the choice to either lean into it, which is clearly what he's doing right now, or just try and run from it. And I do get the impression that maybe that was what we were hearing with some of the lyrics on Even in Arcadia, where it was like him trying to run away from all that chaos. Whereas with this one, it does feel like he's kind of embracing it a little bit more, you know? It feels like his actual real human being personality has kind of grown into this role and is maybe not looking into it so skeptically and, you know, really, really deep. Because, you know, he's obviously, if you've seen the videos of the man behind the mask, he doesn't strike me as a sex symbol through and through, if that makes sense. You know, when you look at him just as his own person, you know, before Vessel and before the mask and the identity, he looks like quite a reserved, you know, shy, timid person. So it must be a massive shock to his system to now be seen in a light that I'm sure up until the point at which Sleep Token started to get massive was never really a thing in his life. So it's a complete like paradigm shift for him, which is really, really interesting, and for anyone, you know. But just in particular, like, he does strike me as a big gamer nerd, like in a lot of the videos I've seen, and I think he is from other videos that I've seen. So it makes a lot of sense that there would be some, you know, weird turbulence that comes with that switch to now being this like literal sex symbol in the metal space, like an actual rock star by every definition. So yeah, it's funny to see him kind of leaning into that a little bit more now. Oh wow, yeah, see, it's like much more confidence in everything he's doing right now. Nice. Okay, right, so that was a different version of Rain. I haven't heard that version either, with the scream for the rain down on me portion of the song. But man, just seeing all of this, the stage design, the production, and just the seemingly endless expansion of the band and how big they're getting, and, you know, the fan base that they have, I can't help but keep looking back to when, even not too long ago, like when I was first checking out some of the older stuff. That's what a lot of people maybe have missed, because a lot of people have come onto my channel with the Sleep Token stuff with the more recent content. But this is a band that I've been checking out for 4 to 5 years now at this point, maybe just coming on to 5 years, when I was first recommended the Sleep Token earlier discography around Sundowning. And I have a lot of those reactions out. The entire album reactions were not a thing back then for me on this channel, but I was checking out the singles when they were released and, you know, going single by single, and I instantly fell in love with the band. The first reaction I've ever done to this band was The Offering, and you can go and watch that video. That's what's great about having this channel, is that all the footage is there to go back on and like have an actual nostalgia trip. It's the first band that I've reacted to that I've had this weird experience of being there a little bit early compared to some of the people that have come on with Take Me Back to Eden and Even in Arcadia. Now, I was by no stretch listening to the band back in like 2019 when, you know, the EPs and stuff were around and they were still like this masked absolute nobodies, for lack of a better term, but I was still there pretty early comparative to when they blew up with the two massive albums, Take Me Back to Eden. And I also like funnily have a story where I've explained this on the Metal Round the podcast before, but I reached out, this is so cringe and embarrassing, but I reached out to Sleep Token on Instagram when they had like 20,000 followers or some shit like that on Instagram, which is pretty accessible. Like today, if there's a band that has 20,000 followers, I would expect it to be pretty easy to get in contact with them, because they don't, it's just a numbers game. Look, it's not like an arrogance thing, it's a numbers game. Like if a band has a couple of hundred followers, they're more than likely not getting inundated in their DMs with messages. Same when a band has like 20,000, you might expect a couple a week where people are reaching out. So I was like, they're an accessible band. Obviously they were still very cryptic at the time, but I kind of seen it as like their stage persona is cryptic, and then they might be cool behind the scenes. We're like, yeah, what's up, man? Because I've had contact with other bands that are doing the whole cryptic thing, but then you speak to them behind the scenes and you're just talking to a normal bloke, but then their social media is all like cryptic and fun and, you know, real dark and mysterious. but then you just talk to them on Instagram DMs and they're cool. They're just like, not that it's not cool to do the other thing, but you know, they're just normal people. But Sleep Token, they haven't even seen that message. They've like stuck to this whole thing. I sent them a massive message basically saying, hey guys, absolutely love the offering. Here's my video. I just wanted to share this with you guys so you guys can maybe, you know, because the offering brought out so much emotions in me that I wanted to like share it with the band and let them know that they're doing like such an amazing thing. And here's like a visual representation of that. So I sent it to the band with this massive thing, like expecting a response. But obviously in hindsight, it's really, really funny to go back. I might go back and find that message. I think I should have it, because just for anyone who hasn't heard the message that I sent them, I'll read it out just for the cringe. So I'll put it on screen. I've just found the message from the 7th of October 2020. I messaged Sleep Token. Now, I don't know how many followers they would have had at the time, but I think I mentioned it in another video that they had like 20,000 or 30,000 followers, because I was like alluding to the fact that I messaged them and they're pretty accessible. So I reached out. But I said, hey guys, I'm an Irish YouTuber who makes music reactions / reviews. I just stumbled across the offering and I am blown away. My subs have been begging me to cover your music for the longest time, and I'd love for you guys to check out my reaction. And then I sent a link. I think you'll really enjoy it. Pretty much just me losing my mind for the entirety of the track. Anyways, can't wait to check out more of your work. I've been recommended that Higher is my next on the list. Hope you guys will stay up to date with the journey. Now, who knows? Maybe to this day, they are still watching the channel. The only confirmation that we've had that I know for a fact that one of the members has 100% seen at least one of my videos is that I think it was 3 or 4. I think it was IV. He liked one of the Metal Roundup podcast Instagram shorts, which is a lot more recent. So there's at least some possibility that this message back in 2020 was seen by one of the members and they said, oh, this is sick, because at the time they wouldn't have had the inundation of React channels checking their stuff out. So I guess I would have been one of the possible handful of people that were checking them out. So maybe they seen it in their requests and they didn't actually open it. They just like took the link or looked up my channel and watched it. And maybe they've been watching on the sly ever since. Maybe they're watching this video right now. That's always a possibility. Who knows? But yeah, I just wanted to share that little bit of cringe with you lot, because I sometimes think of that and I'm like, ugh. But at the same time, it is pretty cool to see again how far the band has come, because yeah, now they're doing sold out arena tours, they're headlining festivals, and it's sometimes hard to even make the comparison that is the same band to this day, because now they've become so big and larger than life that yes, there is part of me that kind of misses the underground, mysterious, cryptic messaging, even though the cryptic messaging still exists. But there's a part of me that still wishes that they were kind of like, you know what, that's the thing that a lot of people have like gatekeepers for. That's what gatekeepers and stuff exist, which is a conscious thing that I have to do in my head to stop myself from being that person, where I would probably prefer if they were still that underground band, because it just feels more intimate, and naturally when they get bigger, the production gets bigger and it has become a little bit more accessible to the mainstream, which I still really enjoy the music, but it seems to have lost a little bit of that, like, you know, intimacy in their music because it's gone so big. Now maybe we'll go back to that, but I think the point is that once a band gets to a certain level of popularity, even if the music is still really intimate, it doesn't feel as intimate because you're sharing it with millions of other people. So part of me wishes that it still had that exact same feel. Of course, I still love all the music and I'll be checking it out going forward. It's incredible. But on the other hand, when they were small, all I was trying to do was get as many people to listen to them as possible. So it's just this weird feeling of, holy shit, what we have been campaigning for years, where we've been sharing our reactions and like trying to get all of our friends and like family members and other people that are in the reaction space to listen to their music, that has actually happened. And now it's absolutely everywhere, which is like, again, going back to it, this is the first time this has ever happened with my channel. And I'm sure a lot of the lads who do reaction channels have probably, actually, do you know what, I know for a fact they haven't seen that with any other band, because we've gone from like listening to this band that like a couple of thousand monthly listeners, or, you know, 100,000 monthly listeners, to all of a sudden almost at 10. Like, I mean, they've dropped down a little bit since the Even in Arcadia release, but they got to like 9.9 million at one point, which is mind-blowing. But on that note, I think it's about time we jump over and listen to the Bruce Springsteen cover, because I'm sure some of you people are probably just here to check that out. I'm going to listen to the original song right now, very quickly, just to familiarize myself with the original. I'm sure I've probably heard it. I'll do a quick time lapse of me listening to it just so you guys can see if there's any moments. And then we'll listen to Vessel's live rendition of it. Okay. I don't think I need to hear any more of the original. I know this song. I just needed to familiarize myself. Again, I knew the name of Bruce. I knew the name of the song. I recognized that I knew it was a famous song, but I just needed to be familiarized with it once again to hear how Vessel... Now, interestingly, it is very upbeat and very like 80s. So how on earth is he going to do a piano rendition of this and make it, I'm assuming, sad? Let's find out. So random. Can't start a fire without a spark. This gun's fire. Even if we're just dancing in the dark. Again, I love the spontaneity of it. Like, it's just, you never really know what you're going to get at a live show now. Let's just keep getting clearer. It's all on the move around my place. See my look in the mirror. Wanna change my clothes, my hair, my face. I ain't getting nowhere. It's just living in a dump like this. There's something happening somewhere. Baby, I just know that this can't start a fire. Apologies for the recording. Can't start a fire without a smoke. This gun's fire. Even if we're just dancing in the dark. It's kind of a reminder that he really is like the main character of Sleep Token. Like the rest of the band, they're just void in this song. On me, stay on the streets of this town. They'll be carving you up, alright. Say you gotta stay hungry. Well, baby, I'm just about starving tonight. I'm dying for some action. Sick of sitting around here trying to write this book. I need a love reaction. Well, come on, baby, give me just one look. If we're just dancing in the dark. Kind of forgot that there was a live crowd there. It was so intimate. That's about as intimate as you're going to get for an arena show, which is cool to see that being somewhat still involved after the conversation that we just had. But yeah, that was nice. Now, obviously, the caveat to that is they took Vor out in replace of that, which is, I can imagine, a little bit of frustration for maybe some of the younger crowd that was excited to hear one of the heavier songs. Obviously, Infinite Baths is included at the end, which is probably arguably the heaviest moment in their discography at the end. But I think Vor is probably the heaviest song they have from start to finish. And the chorus in that song is incredible as well. It's a very good Sleep Token song. So I would imagine some of the younger crowd that maybe isn't as familiar with Bruce Springsteen, like myself, and you know, that song is a classic song. You've probably heard it somewhere, but I can't say I'm like a massive fan of the song that would like keep going back to it. So I would feel a little bit robbed in terms of not getting the Vor experience. However, Vor will be on the set list, I'm sure, many times down the line. You might only have had one chance to see Vessel do this cover live, which is, again, something that I think is really nice and adds this element of unknown to each live performance. Now, each live performance might be the same, but there is that like 1 in 6 chance that Vessel will just randomly cover a different song. And who knows, maybe on one day it might be your favorite song. He could just cover like a periphery song out of nowhere. His influences seem to just span across many genres and subgenres. So yeah, we'll see what the future holds. But guys, that was my coverage of some of the viral moments that we've seen so far on Sleep Token's Even in Arcadia US tour. If there is any videos, please do send them to me on Instagram or Discord, or tell me about them in the YouTube comments. Hit me up somewhere just so I am aware of the existence of them, and then obviously I'll decide to do a video on it or not. Enjoying doing these live concert reviews because there hasn't been many big releases in the music world that I'm like loving at the moment or really interested in. So it's fun to do something a little bit different, more commentary based, and people seem to be enjoying them. So if you are enjoying these concert reviews and just conversation points, then do leave a like in this video. Make sure you are subscribed for more Sleep Token content coming in the near future, I'm very sure. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one, guys. Cheers.